Good day. Here are the stories for the Manila Times for Thursday, January 14, 2021. The Department of Health on Wednesday confirmed that the COVID-19 variant first reported in the United Kingdom has reached the Philippines. The B117 variant was detected in a sample taken from a Filipino who arrived from the United Arab Emirates. The male patient from Quezon City left Dubai on December 27. He arrived in the country on January 7 via Emirates Airlines flight EK332. The man was quarantined upon arrival and swabbed. The sample was sent to the Philippine Genome Center. The man's female partner was also swabbed, but she tested negative, according to the health department. The couple had no exposure to a confirmed case prior to their departure. They also had no travel activities outside Quezon City. To build public confidence and allay Filipinos' vaccine fears, the Philippine Information Agency, or PIA, vowed to intensify its information campaign on the government's vaccination program by visiting villages. PIA Director General Ramon Qualoping III said its communication plan includes the holding of meetings with local government officials, village officials, and members of various sectors. The Philippines has secured another deal for the purchase of additional 20 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccines against COVID-19, the country's vaccine czar said on Wednesday. Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., chief implementer of the government's response to the pandemic, said a deal with AstraZeneca will be signed on Thursday. Senator Francis Pangilinan has called on the government to cancel the purchase of Sinovac vaccines because of its low efficacy. The senator cited data in Brazil that showed a disappointing 50.4% efficacy for China's Sinovac vaccine. The senator said officials who attended the Senate hearing on the vaccination program prepared justifications for favoring Sinovac. Some said the Philippines may be at the tail end of the supply chain when asked why the government had concluded with a deal with the company. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Benjamin Diokno said the Philippines could achieve a coinless society in 2025 on the back of the regulator's digital payment initiatives. Adopted by the central bank in November 2019, the National Quick Response or QR Code Standard or QRPH is seen to accelerate digital payments. Former House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano and his allies are set to launch a new bloc in the House of Representatives to be called BTS sa Kongreso or BTS in Congress, named after the famous South Korean boy band. The bloc will be composed of Camarines Sur Representative Luis Raymond Villafuerte, Laguna Representative Dan Fernandez, Batangas Representative Ranio Abu, and Capiz Representative Fredenil Castro, who were stripped of their deputy speaker posts. The other members are Anak Kalusugan Party List Representative Michael Defensor and Bulacan Representative Jose Antonio C. Alvarado, who were booted out as chairmen of the Committees on Good Government and Public Accountability and Public Accounts respectively. Cayetano said BTS meant back to service or bayanihan, tapang, at serbisyo or unity, courage, service. The House panel tackling proposed amendments to restrictive economic provisions in the 1987 Constitution is sitting as a Constituent Assembly or CON-AS. House Committee on Constitutional Amendments Chairman Alfredo Garbin Jr. declared on Wednesday. His statement was quickly opposed by some lawmakers, including senators. A group launched an online petition to stop the construction of a 31-story condominium behind the historic San Sebastian Church in Quiapo, Manila. The San Sebastian Basilica Conservation and Development Foundation Incorporated turned to social media to seek public support, saying the project has been opposed since plans of its construction were announced. Authorities, however, approved the project last year. The group said the issue not only involved the protection of architectural and structural integrity of the church, also known as the Minor Basilica of San Sebastian, but the possible displacement of residents in the area. In business, the government's goal to cut the country's poverty incidence rate to 14.5% can be achieved if the country rebounds considerably next year, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas said on Wednesday. In an online broadsheet interview, BSP Governor Benjamin Diokno said that although the government's desire to attain that goal was disrupted, it remained on the table. He said that goal is still doable if the country recovers by around 8 to 10%. Over to sports, with 5 games called off this week already and more teams dealing with virus-related issues, the National Basketball Association and its Players Association enacted additional rules on Tuesday or Wednesday in Manila in the hope of keeping the season going safely. For at least the next 2 weeks, the league and union said, players and team staff will have to remain at their residence when in their home markets and are prohibited from leaving their hotels when on the road, with exceptions primarily for practices and games. Yen Macabenta, Ramon Tufo, and architect Felina Palafox Jr. are today's front page columnists. Macabenta talks about Sweden keeping their schools open during the pandemic without any lockdowns or masks. Tufo wonders if slain flight attendant Christine De Serra is a hero as policemen acted as pallbearers at her funeral, and architect Palafox discusses the architecture, planning, and urban design of the Leyte Ecological Industrial Zone. Speaking of Macabenta's column on Sweden's school policies, today's editorial discusses an Asian Development Bank study saying school closures are doing more harm than good. Read the full version on the paper's opinion section or listen to the voice of the Times. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and keep up with the Times. With the Fort Villa Serran, this is Eric John Sequel reporting. May you have a good day and stay safe.